Hope everybody enjoyed our special guest last week. Had some fun with
It was good having them.
that. Yep.
Good beer, too.
If you say so. I don't know.
You notice what I'm wearing today?
You're ready for some baseball?
Yeah. Everybody's reporting to camp.
Yeah.
Warm weather is around the corner.
You could play baseball right now.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nice. They are playing baseball.
It is right around the corner.
So here's a question for you. When you're in baseball, like you're a Major League Baseball player and you're in spring training camp, for one, is it really like Major League where they like sleep on bunk beds and
I don't think so. Maybe
I think they
that way, but I think
don't just stay in like hotels or condos.
I think they all like rent apartments and condos.
And for two, do they get days off, or is it just every single day you're going to the ballpark until?
I'm sure it's pretty much every day. Like even if it's a day off, they probably go and do something. Whether they get something from the trainer or I'm sure they do.
But here's the other question. It's the $1 million question, literally. If you're getting paid $1 million or whatever, would you bellyache about having to go to the ballpark every single day from
especially because you just had the
middle of February to the end of September?
Right. You just had the entire winter off, and I'm sure you work out and do stuff over the winter, but we go to work every day. Yeah, sometimes we have a day off here and there, but it's not like we're excited to go to work.
And we don't get paid millions of dollars.
Exactly. Like, I don't mind going to work. It's just like, I got to go to work. But
sometimes I mind going to work.
There's something. It was a rough week for me, so
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So we got kind of an exciting beer today, I think.
I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Grolsch. We're going to say it's Grolsch. That's what people have told me. I was carrying it around at work today, and the store director comes up to me and he's like, "Going to drink some Grolsch, huh?" And I explained to him the deal of why I'm going to drink some Grolsch. And he goes, "Yeah, that's back in the day when they didn't have a million different types of beer in a grocery store. They'd have the import section and they'd have Grolsch, Heineken, and like one other beer, and that would be it. Otherwise, it was all Budweiser, Coors, and Miller. And probably like PBR and stuff like that too." But
Schlitz.
Yeah.
Well, here it is.
So you got yours?
Got it right here.
It's cool. Really
interesting. I've never seen a beer. Oh, mine's kind of frozen at the top. We should see what happens. But I'm kind of scared to open it.
I don't even this would be like, you know how nowadays they have like people our age,
right,
filming their kids like how to use like a landline telephone. They're
yes.
Like, "What is this?" This would be like our grandma and grandpa filming us like how to open one of these kind of bottles. We're just gonna fight our way through it. Should we go for it?
I guess. We have this little label.
Whoa!
As soon as you hit that, it popped up.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm really scared now. Mine didn't do it. Oh God!
This beer is awesome so far. It's like champagne.
I got shit all over my monitor.
Mine had a little splash effect, but not as much as yours.
Oh, God.
That's awesome. That's worth the price of admission right there.
Usually you don't see that on these kind of videos. It smells like a Heineken.
Oh, yeah, stinks big time. Smells like a skunky butthole.
Skunky butthole just splashed all over my face. It's not bad.
The smell is a lot worse than the taste.
There's a lot of flavor in there, though.
I don't think it's quite as bad as a Heineken because it's kind of the same boat as a Heineken. They're both Holland, right?
Yeah, they're both Holland. I got to get a towel. Hang on.
This is awesome. Technical difficulties from
It
the beer.
happens.
Those are our first beer caused technical difficulties.
Yes, I don't know what happened. I really don't, but hopefully it will actually keep our recording. That's the only thing I worry about. That was pretty awesome. But I was just saying before it turned off, right before I started recording, I just cleaned off my monitor, my keyboard. Bound to happen, I guess.
Dude, this beer is not good.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. What's wrong with it?
I don't know. It just doesn't. It's like
Skunky?
Yeah. I think it's something about the green bottles.
You know, I'll tell you. Look at this. These guys are ahead of the times. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get it on the camera there. Hang on. They listed their ingredients. Water, malted barley, and hops.
Wow.
They beat.
Screw off, Bud Light.
Right. Like, I mean, obviously I just bought this, and maybe, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've done that for a long time.
So, remember the employee that I have and her mom works for the beer company?
Our potential sponsor.
I met her today.
Ooh. How'd that go?
It went well. She said our videos are way too long, so she won't watch them. I said, that's fine. I said, watch the ones towards the beginning because they aren't as long. Lately, we've been going long because we just like to hang out with each other and bullshit.
It's true.
But she said that she was going to try her best to get me a hat. And I said I'd wear it with pride. She was telling me about that she gets to sample beer all the time at like 6:30 in the morning meetings.
So they just have their regular business meetings and they're just sampling beer?
Yeah. Because they have, you have to know what it tastes like or whatever.
What does she do for them?
I didn't ask her specifically, but my employee told me she's like a supervisor for the merchandisers.
For the merchandisers?
Yeah. The guys that go to the store and fill the beer.
Huh. I'm sure she's got plenty of swag.
She said that her last sample was a Heineken Zero or something like that. It's a non-alcoholic Heineken.
That's a new thing they said for like there's going to be more of that in 2019.
She's like I don't understand the point of that because it just makes me want to drink more beer. Like my thoughts exactly.
I mean, what if you want to have a beer but you are in a situation you can't get drunk?
Then you just have a soda.
What if you like the flavor of beer?
Nobody likes the flavor of Heineken.
I didn't mind it. I liked it. I like this bottle, though. It's designed. It has little ridges on the side of it.
Yeah.
It's like grips.
The mouth of it is different to drink out of. It feels like the brewery started in 1615, and you feel like you're drinking out of a bottle from 1615.
I wonder how often they recollected their bottles, like back in the day. Just cleaned them and refilled them, like the milkman. What if there was like a milkman for beer? where
You just set the empties out on your porch, and he brings you some new ones in the morning.
exactly. You just have like you
Yes.
set a cooler out there, and then you just
Yes.
puts them out there. By the time you get home, dude, that might be a business. We should have our mathematician brother on here because he might go for that. Though I don't know. That's probably a big liability just to leave beer.
Yeah. There's so many package thieves nowadays.
So maybe it comes with, like, with your subscription, it comes with a cooler that has a combination lock on it.
A lockbox.
Uh-huh.
You like chain it to your handrail up to steps or something like that.
Right. And the delivery guy has like a universal code that he can just
or a fob or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit out there, but yeah, why not?
You get 6 beers, or you could choose like how many beers you want a week.
And the more you buy, the more you save.
Yeah. You can tell who the real alcoholics are. The beer man would be like, I go to this house every day.
That's my recycling guys. My recycling guys. There you go. Christ. I try to put the soda cans on the top.
Yeah.
You know?
I've cut back so much I don't worry about it. But there, for a while, like, because my wife runs an in-home daycare, so I'd feel really bad on garbage day when the daycare parents would pull into the driveway and see a recycling bin full of Miller Lite cans.
I have a party every Saturday.
But I've cut back a ton.
Good for you, man.
I've just been tired. I don't know. I've just been tired.
I've just had just so much stress at work and shit. It sucks. But hopefully we have some changes coming at work, allegedly. So hopefully that will help.
Just for you.
I don't want to go into detail here. There's not a lot of, I don't know everything, number one. Number two, I don't want to speculate and then people get their hopes up if they see the video and whatnot. But there's changes every single time in February. There's changes at work. So we'll see. You like the different view I got here?
I was going to say, are you facing the other way?
I am facing the other way. It wasn't cloudy earlier. I was hoping you could get somewhat of a sunset. I mean, it might be early for that, but we'll see if these.
Got the palm there in the back.
Yep, got my palm here. Big old oak tree or whatever that is up here. Got my grill. Change it up every once in a while.
I changed it up too. I have my little piece of Florida. There's a painting of the Skyway Bridge. See it?
Yep. Somebody jumped this morning, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Happens like twice a month, it seems. That wouldn't be the way to go. Jump off a bridge?
Yeah, I don't know. Drowning doesn't seem like, you better be DOI, because drowning would sound terrible.
DOI? Death on impact?
Death upon impact.
Like me when we were playing Call of Duty earlier, when I jumped off the lighthouse.
Mistakes were made.
I always worry, like, we haven't been on the boat in a long time, but we used to go fishing like under the bridge. And like, how awful would that be if you're just fishing under the bridge and just you're just like,
would you jump in and try and save him?
I mean, I don't know if I'd jump in, but you definitely have to bring your boat over to it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something I don't like to think about. Dude, I'm getting through this beer okay.
I'm further along than you, I think.
There you go. So, Bald and I have been thinking of things we can talk about on the show. And, don't get me wrong, I don't want anything scripted or anything like that, but maybe just things we can think about. And today, while we were running errands, I was intentionally annoying my wife just to see how far I can get. So I thought it might be fun to try to talk about some things that we do to intentionally annoy our wives.
I'm really good at pretending to clean stuff because she always says I'm not very good at cleaning.
I'm notorious for that as well. Like a lot of times. Is that a new one?
No.
I'm looking. I want to get through this just so I can do it again. I'm gonna do it like out here though. But yeah, I'm not allowed to do the dishes a lot of times.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
I mean, I cook most of the time, so she cleans the dishes most of the time, but she just watches me, and we don't have a dishwasher.
Yeah, you do. You married one. Ooh.
You're lucky she doesn't watch these videos.
The other thing I do is I texted you guys about this the other day. Belly button lint.
Yeah.
You pull out that belly button lint and just like pretend like you're gonna put it on her.
Right.
Gets her every time.
One of my favorite things. It's not like I have gross feet, but I mean, let's face it, all men have at least somewhat gross feet.
All feet are somewhat gross.
Exactly. So like, I'll be sitting on the couch and she'll be sitting on the other couch, and I'll just like inch my foot near her, just to see how close I can get it before she slaps my foot. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
When we're in the car, one of my favorite things to do is to like a song will come on the radio, and I won't sing the song. I'll just sing like the guitar.
How about this one? A lot of these are just like gross your wife out because that's funny.
It's what you do.
But yeah. you hold your fart in until you get in the car and the doors are closed.
I think probably, I don't know, 60% of my farts happen like 2 seconds after getting into the car.
Yeah, and she's like, "Why didn't you do that outside the car?" And you're like, "I didn't want anybody else to hear. That'd be embarrassing."
You're in a full parking lot or something,
Yeah.
Like...
It always happens at church for me because I hold it in for 2 hours at church. And as soon as I get in the car, it's like automatic rip it. She's like, "You could have done that in the parking lot." I'm like, "No, because Grandma Sandy or whatever was parked right next to us getting into her car."
I'll never forget, and I was in high school, I was dating a girl. And in high school, you don't fart in front of your girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I was, we were hanging out watching TV at her place or whatever. So I was holding it in all night, I was over there for like 4 hours. And we say goodnight or whatever, and I go outside and I get in my car. Before I even get out of her driveway, it was, monster.
Totally rip it.
Monstrous. And then I look up and I see her coming out of her house. Like, I think like she left something in my car or something. I'm just like, like turning on the air conditioner. I told you the story the first time I farted in front of my wife.
No.
So, you're somewhat involved in this actually, because remember the first time you met her.
Mm-hmm.
We basically flew into Omaha, and she was immediately greeted by Mom and you, and we went on a road trip. When we got back from the road trip, we stayed a couple days in Omaha, I think, and we're sleeping in the guest room. And when you wake up sometimes, especially in a weird place, like you just don't really know where you are.
Yeah.
So like I was like half awake, just kind of that like, I don't really know what's going on here. And so I farted. And then I came to and went, shit, Jess is in this bed with me. I hope she's still sleeping. Because the first time you fart in front of somebody, that's a big deal.
That's like, it's almost like saying I love you.
Oh, I agree. Like I trust you, and you're not going to judge me for my farts.
Yeah.
But she didn't say anything, and I was like, oh, whew. She just slept through it, or anything like that. Maybe like a month or two later, she actually brought it up, and she was totally awake and heard the huge fart that I had.
What about the first time she farted in front of you?
Oh, I'm sure it was some time after that. It wasn't very memorable, I guess.
Once the guy rips the first one, the guy always has to be the first one to rip. And then the girl can do it too. I mean, in my opinion.
I guess
if I'm going to rip it in front of you, you can rip it in front of me.
Oh, yeah, you can't judge.
Yeah. I mean, deep down inside, everybody knows that everybody farts. So once you break the ice, it's fair game.
I believe this conversation started a fight with our dad and our stepmom, because he makes a big deal out of her in not farting. So like one time she actually did, and he made a big deal out of it, and she got pissed. So it's a sensitive topic for some women.
I think that's weird. Can we call a timeout?
Sure.
Mound visit. All right.
So this thing, it's 5% alcohol. Right? Did I see that?
Yep.
And it's 15.2 fluid ounces, which when you said that, I'm like, how the hell is it 15.2? It's because it is 450 milliliters. So they're not concerned
because it's
about
European.
The ounces. Right.
Yeah.
But
I was just a peon, and earlier you were a peon.
Jesus. You are a dad.
That's a knee slapper.
But isn't a pint something they use in Europe, though?
Yeah. 16 ounces.
But maybe these were so old that they didn't have pints yet. I don't know.
I think that the metric system is a little bit newer. Like the pint in Europe is like an old school term.
And it just happens to be 16 ounces.
Yeah.
And a pint is a pound the world around.
But then the Europeans are smarter than Americans and adopted the metric system because it's much easier for school kids to learn.
Well, and it's more precise.
Yeah.
Not even school kids, but
everybody.
I don't have to say 1/32 of an inch, right?
Yeah.
I can say that's
and like how many feet are in a mile?
5,280.
Yeah. But how many meters are a kilometer?
1,000.
What's easier to remember?
I don't know. I always remember 5,280. So, but all right.
I bet the average American can't remember 5,280.
Did you know it was 5,280?
Yeah. Are you opening another one?
I am.
Me too.
I kind of. Oh, you go ahead. I wish I could with because you can do like slow motion on your cell phone,
Yeah.
But I can't really hold it. I don't have the tripod like you do, so. But I do want to get it on the microphone. So it makes a pretty cool noise. I'm just gonna. Okay, that wasn't as violent that time. That's good. That's probably because the first one I had in the freezer. This one was just on ice.
Every time we pop them open, you got to say Grolsch. That's what they say in the Netherlands. Gross.
Grolsch.
The Netherlands wins a football game and they go Grolsch.
Netherlands has a decent football team.
They are. It's not that big of a country, is it?
No, it's a fairly new football team that's come around. So,
like the Texans.
No, I mean
are the newest football team.
No, I mean like they've had one for a long time. They just haven't been relevant.
Oh, soccer.
Yes, I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think they play American football. And
the Dutch. Isn't it Dutch, Holland, the Netherlands? Isn't that all the same thing?
It's the most confusing thing in the world.
Am I right, though, or am I saying that the Dutch is a different country?
No, I think you're right.
The windmills and the wooden clogs.
Yes, and the you can smoke pot there and do prostitutes too. Isn't that right?
Amsterdam.
Right, which is in Holland, which is the Netherlands, but the people there are Dutch.
Yeah, and their flag is one color, but their soccer jerseys are orange. Google that real quick. What's their flag? And then put it up in the corner over here.
Remember last week when Dad was like,
Where is it?
I mean, what do I Google? The Dutch flag, the Netherlands flag, Holland flag? Probably
the Netherlands.
Netherlands flag.
Do you think that it's called the Netherlands? Because say the king of Holland, back when it was called Holland, said, I'm going to name my country after my daughter and be a reminder to all her boyfriends in the future. She is the Netherlands. See, why is their soccer jersey orange?
But here's the thing. When I was just looking at that, because I just Googled Netherlands flag and looked at the images, but right next to that, it says Dutch flags. Now, how much sense? There's a Dutch flag and a Netherlands flag? Oh, you must be checking a text message or something because I can't see.
Yeah, sorry. My wife called me.
She having trouble finding
the Holland and the Dutch and the Netherlands isn't the same thing, or is it?
I don't know, but here's their soccer jersey.
Is that orange?
Orange, yep. Blue and orange. I don't really get it.
The United States should do that. Just pick a random color. People would maybe cheer for them.
You know what's crazy about international soccer and their jerseys? They literally make a jersey for each game. So it'll literally be on their sleeve, USA versus Mexico and the date.
Isn't that the NBA?
Yeah, right. I love how the NBA has adopted, how soccer players trade jerseys. Now the NBA's trading jerseys after every game.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to look into that in sports, how many jerseys does each sport go through,
Yeah.
What's your wife up to?
She says, come to church. There's a meeting you need to be at.
She's trying to suck you into playing some Sorry or something.
Maybe.
You know what sucks about board games is, Jess and I, it's, just us two in the house. And there are literally no 2-player board games.
Connect 4.
I could play like
Do you mean
4.
for adults?
Well, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we play Scrabble sometimes, or we play like Uno. We play Rummy. So, like, there aren't like
You can.
board.
I got a couple games you could play.
Yeah.
Ticket to Ride and what's the other one? Small World. You can play 2-player strategy games.
Are they fun?
Oh, super fun! Yeah.
So, is this beer like growing on you at all?
It is. It is. It's not as bad as I thought it was. And
Well,
the bottle, I mean, like,
it makes it.
raises it to a new level.
It's fun every time you open one.
And to drink out of it, the mouth,
Yeah.
the little thing hanging down.
Like, I might like save these bottles.
Yeah, when I show them to my wife, she'll be like, "Save those."
Yeah, like you could take the label off and everything and wash them up
Yep.
real good.
They're a nice, thick, heavy bottle too.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular beer bottle.
No, not at all. So we should probably start thinking about rating.
Yeah.
Right. Drinkability. We're gonna drink about 30 ounces of beer in less than an hour, so it's got to be decent.
I'll give it an average of 3.
I'll go 3-2 because it's definitely has the bitterness that you kind of have to cut through a little bit, and that's the thing too. You know, for example, one of our viewers. When I say one of our viewers, I actually mean Ben from work.
you mean our viewer?
He's like, he says, I see you guys drinking Miller Lite before and even during the show. Doesn't that affect how the beer tastes? And I'm like, I kind of see what you're saying there. You know, if I'm drinking a Miller Lite, then I go to this, then I immediately get kind of the skunkiness or the boldness of the beer.
Yeah.
And that's why we open the second one. We're like, oh, no, it doesn't have that. So I get that. I don't know where I was going with that, but there's something to it. Flavor?
I'm gonna give it a 2. Like, I don't want to give it like a super low rating, but I would say that it's below average. So it has to be a 2. If a 3 is in the middle and a 3 is average, then I have to give it a 2.
Yeah. You know, now that I have our ratings organized, I can compare. So, for example, I'm going to look and see. I can't see myself on the camera anymore because I'm looking at a damn spreadsheet. But I'm going to look at your flavor. Of course, my computer's crashing as I'm trying to do this. Your flavor profile, you gave a few things a 2. Okay, you gave Space Dust a 2. You gave Rolling Rock a 2. You gave Porter a 2. And you gave Liquid Paradise a 2. So
it's kind of all over the board there.
It is. So thinking about that, this one is surely better than Liquid Paradise. You were depressed about that beer.
It was a letdown. It was a letdown. I just had one today. I had my last one today, and it wasn't
you know what?
as bad as when I first had it.
I apologize. I was looking at my ratings, but they're pretty darn close. You actually gave Elysian a 4. I gave it a 2. And you gave a Heineken a 2. So that makes sense. Your 2 rating makes sense on flavor.
Beer from the Dutch, Netherlands, Holland is about a 2 in flavor.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I like it, but I don't like it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now value, I paid $8.50 for 4 15.2 ounce beers. So it's a little pricier than we normally pay, I would say. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to.
You know what? This is going to surprise you, but I'm going to give it a 5.
Because of the entertainment value?
Well, I paid $10 for 4 beers.
Okay.
If I went to like a flea market or an antique store or something like that, I would pay $2 for one of these bottles.
That's true. So really, you're only paying 50 cents for the beer.
And they're 15-ounce beers. And you get the entertainment value and like the feeling of drinking out of these things. And if you're, especially like if your wife is into keeping the bottles, then it's a great value.
So you're counting the flavor. You're counting the value of not the actual beer. You're
The
counting
beer
the value.
factored in that if I would pay $2 for this bottle, it only costs 50 cents for the beer inside of it.
It's an interesting way to look at it. I'll go ahead and give it a 4. Just because I think it's a 4. I don't have like a long drawn out explanation. But I would say here's the big question: you have 4 of these bottles. Are you going to buy it again?
No.
No?
Not unless my wife says, I need more of these bottles for a project. Then I will. But
it's so hard to say you're never going to buy a beer again. You know? It's hard to say that for me.
That I know that unless my wife says, I really like those bottles, will you buy some more of that beer?
Well, you know what? And I think I need to apply this logic to the future. Okay? I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to buy it again. But what I mean by that is I don't need to buy this beer again because I'm buying a brand new beer every single week to do this show. Right? Like, I'm not going to go out on, like, if I wasn't doing the show and I wanted like a fun weekend beer, I might go buy this again. But guess what? I'm buying a different weekend beer.
But still reserve. I'm going to buy a still reserve again.
I wouldn't call that a fun weekend beer. Well, I guess you could.
We're buying it when I go down there over a weekend.
We're going to get sloshed on Seal Reserves.
And 4 Locos.
I hope my doctor doesn't watch this show. I really hope she never watches this show. She'd kill me.
I don't know that I should drive to this meeting.
I thought you just say screw the meeting. Or pull them up on Skype or something.
Conference call?
Do churches not believe in Skype? I don't know of how that goes. Can you imagine, like, instead of calling the Last Supper, Jesus just Skyped everybody?
Then they couldn't drink his blood and eat his bread, eat his body.
No, they use Uber Eats for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's actually like a comedy routine. This like famous Christian comedian has like, if the Bible was on a cell phone or whatever.
Oh, your wife posted something about that. I didn't click on it.
I mean, some of it was actually pretty funny, but yeah, that would be something he would have put on that.
I mean, this could be an unpopular opinion, but I'll stick to Louis C.K. instead of that guy.
Ooh.
What, you don't like Louis C.K. because he...
I think he's funny, but yeah, he's an unpopular opinion because he was pulling out his wanker in front of people.
It's not like it was in public. It's just weird. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like, hey, good job.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Right. No, it's completely weird. But like, they're putting him in the same light as like Bill Cosby and
Donald Trump,
the Jewish movie producer guy, whatever his name is. No, that's not even. They're completely different tiers.
Kevin Spacey.
That's exactly. He actually, not Kevin Spacey, but the guy we were just talking about. He actually just had a performance in Tampa. He's getting back on the road.
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
I bet that's a long time of jokes.
You bet what?
I bet that's a long time of jokes for him to be able to joke about himself.
From what I understand, he didn't change anything. He didn't, he's still, to me, he's the funniest guy. He's hilarious. Go watch him on Netflix or whatever. He's absolutely hilarious.
There's a lot of funny people out there.
Like, do you watch stand-up ever?
I'm not like a stand-up guy. I don't
seek
it or anything.
If it crosses your path, maybe you'll look at it.
Oh, that was like a
Jinx, you owe me a
moment.
Jinx, you owe me a
Grolsch. Grolsch.
What you should do, but it would be fun to take one of those and shake it up really good and then do that.
Ooh. I take it back that I won't buy it again. I might buy it again just to shake it up and shoot it out like in the summer. Because I'd want to do it outside.
Okay.
But it might be worth it to shake it up and pop them. In fact, that might be something we do when I go down there.
We're going to spend so much money on beer while you're down here. I can't wait to have our episode while you're down here. How cool is that going to be? Where are we going to do it? Like, it's going to have to be an epic video.
Okay, I'm considering coming down there sooner rather than later and just catching a spring training game.
You've never been to a Rays spring training game.
I know, but I want to see G-Man. I want to see the new catcher. I want to see Duffy. I want to see Kiermaier.
Hang on. And I love this. The first name out of your mouth was G-Man.
I was going around the infield.
I was like, dude, G-Man's like my favorite Ray. I mean, mostly because his name is G-Man. How cool is that?
I want to see – I can't even think of their names off the top of my head right now. But the shortstop, Adames. I want to see Robertson. I want to see Pham. I want to see those guys. And if I go to a spring training game, I'm not guaranteed to see them.
True. But the atmosphere, dude, like you just sit there and just relax, drink beer.
That's what we do in a regular season game.
I know. It's different. And if you come down here during spring training, we could probably catch more than one spring training game. Like we could go check a Rays game and then go check a Phillies game or something. Or a Blue Jays game. Or a Yankee game.
Let me think about it.
I met Joe Madden at a spring training game once.
I was right next to Joe Madden at a regular season game.
Yeah, but did he talk to you?
No, but Rusty did.
I hung out with Rusty at a bar.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which you could have done anytime there was a viewing party.
Yeah, it's funny, like they have viewing parties still, but they don't bring a slap chop guy to the viewing parties. I don't think they have him anymore.
The Rays girls or whatever.
I haven't been to a viewing party in years.
If Dave and Andy could broadcast the game from a Rays viewing party, I would go.
So
they call the game from the TV broadcast.
So they have multiple camera views that they can just call a game?
Yeah.
Do you think you could call a game?
No.
What if you had because they think about it all day. They research it, with all the players and everything.
If I spent the whole if it was my job, yes. If it was my job, my full-time job, I think that I could.
Like, I just think it's crazy. Like, how
Just
many notes do they have to be like, well, that's the first time since 2014 that Kevin Kiermaier has hit for extra bases in the 6th inning. It's like, what the fuck? Like, really?
Well, they have stats guys, and they've been doing it for so long, they know. They watch every single game.
It's true. They live it and breathe it.
Yeah.
Like, you would probably say, that's the first time we delivered 8 bananas on a Wednesday.
Well, just today, Terry Mason. She ordered 2 things from produce, and that's the first time she's ever ordered 2 things from produce. Normally, all she orders is junk.
You know the names of the people?
Yeah.
So
I would say 2/3 of the order, I know who the person.
So Terry Mason
orders junk.
Whoever that is doesn't eat well.
No.
Have you met Terry Mason?
Yes, I've been to her house.
Is it? I bet the most fun part of your job is collecting an order for somebody, and I would just picture who this person
Putting
is.
the face to the name.
Yes, and then meeting the person. Like, that would be the most fun part of the job.
Rarely is it who you think it would be.
Like, I would even set up wagers with the coworkers. Like, all right, guys, here's this order. Everybody write down what you think they're like.
Like, it's going to be a guy between the age of 40 and 45.
He probably has a
large SUV with a car seat in the back.
And his house is a mess.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be able to help myself. Which, I mean, technically, I don't do it as much because, I don't actually do operations much. But, like, if I review a credit bureau, I can sit there and imagine exactly who this person is.
But, see, the thing about my business is 90% of the time you just assume it's an old lady with a nasty-ass house.
But I would say no. I mean, you're experienced, but do nasty old ladies use the internet?
You'd be surprised. If they need groceries that bad, they'll figure it out. The best is when they're like, you get somebody to call the store and they're like, we tried to order the groceries, but we can't get them till tomorrow. If I place an order, can I get it today? I can't leave the house. My husband had surgery. Like, they come up with all these excuses of why they can't go to the grocery store.
Sure.
And you just want to say to them, what did you do 4 years ago when you couldn't order your groceries online?
Sure.
What did you do? What did people do 4 years ago when they couldn't have somebody bring them their groceries?
Maybe they had a friend who.
Yeah, where's their friend now?
Maybe they died. I don't know.
Maybe you should stop unfriending people on Facebook and they would bring you your groceries.
Speaking of that, I really wish that Facebook would give you an alert if somebody unfriended you.
That would be cool.
Like, you get a weekly report.
Like, screw you.
Like, I wonder what I did. Maybe they didn't like my post about.
The best is when somebody unfriends you, and then 6 months later they
refriend you,
and you're like, I didn't even know that you unfriended me, and now you're refriending me.
I didn't even miss your shit, man. Okay, whatever. I like this beer. I do. Who do you think our next special guest should be?
We should think of some old buddies from high school or something like that.
Right? I mean, Rothy would definitely be in.
Rothy or Brian Meisinger?
Brian would be in.
Rothy doesn't drink a whole lot, but I think that he'd be fun.
He drinks his rum and cokes and stuff like that, or Jack and Cokes or whatever.
Yeah, he's a liquor drinker when he does drink.
I
think an old friend from high school would be fun.
Okay, let's start thinking about that.
Anthony can't drink anymore, huh? How about Uncle Robbie?
I don't know. We're not allowed to say Bud Light on the air, so we couldn't do it.
I think it'd be good to have Mikey.
Mikey, he doesn't really drink beer, but I could probably convince him. He could give us some insight to the video game industry or something.
How about our future brother-in-law, step-brother-in-law?
He's a little shy, so I don't know.
But he's a beer drinker.
Yeah,
right?
he likes beer. I'll think about it.
There's some people out there.
Yeah.
Pinellas Park lighting up the cherries there.
Jeez, it's all day, every day, man. All day, every day. Get used to it, I guess. Anywho, I'm almost done with my beer.
So, me too. Overall, like my ratings might not be super high, but
it's
you got to hand it to this beer in a lot of different ways. Maybe not the flavor, but
well, they stuck to their guns. You know what I mean? Like they could very easily change this to a different opener. You know, this costs them money to do that.
Yeah.
To make this bottle, I guarantee you, they make their own bottles. You know, like for example, all the mainstream beers, they don't make their own bottles. They've resourced that out to somebody, and no, they just stuck to their guns and they did it. It's kind of fun.
It is fun.
It's like driving a classic car or something like that. You know, it's
like driving a stick shift when you don't drive a stick shift.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a novelty. It's a novelty beer.
Absolutely, it's a novelty. And it makes you wonder, beers like this. I mean, because we're both able to find it easily. Are there people who just drink this beer on the regular?
You can't. No.
You don't think so? I mean, you got it at your grocery store.
Yeah, just a regular grocery store, not a huge beer selection.
Right, and it's just sitting on the shelf. Somebody's buying it. They don't keep it on the shelf if they're not buying it.
I'm about 5 seconds away from another timeout.
All right, well, I'll let you go then. Maybe we'll play some Call of Duty a little later. My wife gets mad. That's another thing I do to annoy my wife intentionally.
Play Call of Duty, me too.
And one thing I also do to my brother to piss him off intentionally is keep him on the show as long as I can when I know he has to pee. I just keep talking and keep talking and talking.
Hey, thanks for having a beer with me, brother.
Thanks for having a beer with me, dude. Go take a piss, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.